welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking you through one of the main factors which could be resulting in wasted ad spend on your Google Ads campaigns. One of the main reasons you may be seeing wasted ad spend or a low return on ad spend is due to something called click fraud. Click fraud is often when an internet user excessively clicks on your ad with the sole intention of wasting your ad spend. The reason that individual users or larger setups known as click farms do this is to waste competitors' ad spend so that their ads can show in place. As a digital marketing agency that offer Google Ads as one of our key services, we do all that we can to prevent click fraud on all of our clients' ads. The solution that we have found helps with this is known as ClickGuardian. There are a couple of reasons that we use ClickGuardian. Firstly, they offer a 7-day free trial, so if you are unsure whether or not you have an issue with click fraud, you can sign up and trial it for 7 days. The dashboard, as you can see here, will be able to very clearly show whether or not click fraud is an issue for you, and based on that you can decide whether or not to proceed with the subscription past the trial period. Another reason why we use ClickGuardian is the fact that the setup process is very straightforward. And I'm going to talk you through that today. So once you have signed up with an account, this is what it looks like when you log in. This is the dashboard. As you can see, it's very visual. You can see your activity in a today view, a yesterday view, in the last 7 days, and in the last 30 days. The great thing about this dashboard is obviously you can very clearly see how many blocks have been made within your selected time frame. It will also take into account how many clicks you've received in that overall time frame, and using the number of blocks, it will tell you the percentage of them paid clicks that were fraudulent. And it will also take into account your average cost per click and the number of blocks and work out a potential advertising savings. So just to give you an idea, the standard package for ClickGuardian is £35 a month. That is billed monthly. You can cancel at any time. Looking at this account here, as you can see, the potential advertising savings is £264. So you can kind of see that it essentially pays for itself. So what you would be wasting in ad spend, you're actually saving by subscribing to ClickGuardian. So not only does the dashboard show you these 3 metrics, it also shows you a more visual graph, and if you scroll down it will also tell you the reason why that particular IP address was blocked. So before we go into more detail about how ClickGuardian actually works, let's just briefly discuss what the setup process looks like. As I said at the start, it is very straightforward. All you're really going to need is your Google Ads ID and either access to Google Tag Manager, which would be installed on your website, or access to the back end of the website itself. I'm just going to move myself up here a second. But let's just go into the setup section here and I will talk you briefly through this. So when you sign up, it will ask you for your domain. When you put your domain into the system, you don't want to include the www. You just want the domain itself. You also want to make sure that there's no space, otherwise any data that is collected isn't going to be attributed back to the account. Once you have signed up, you will need to link your Google Ads account. This is just going to make sure that any IP addresses that are blocked by the system are able to be pushed through into your Google Ads campaigns. So the way in which you link up your Google Ads account is if you go into the setup section, into Google Ads, you will then see this button here to add a new Google Ads account. You just want to click this here and pop in the 10-digit account ID. Once you provide that, if you click link account, what it's going to do is it's going to send a link request to both the email address associated with that Google Ads account, and it will also send it directly into the account itself. So you can either accept this directly in the email that's sent, or you can go into the access and security settings and accept it there. Once you've accepted that, it's going to show your Google Ads account name, and this is going to be linked, ready to go. So now the Google Ads account is linked, we need to allow the system to be able to see visitors once they reach the site after they've clicked on your ad. So to do this, you need to install the tracking code. This can be found in the setup section under tracking code. So this is a tracking code. It is unique to every account. So if you are looking to run this on multiple different PPC campaigns, the tracking code would be different. However, if you have Google Tag Manager installed onto the site, you can use the custom HTML feature and install it that way. You just want to make sure that it is set to fire on all pages and only once per page. So once the tracking code has been installed and you have linked up your Google Ads account, this system is now going to be able to start seeing some data on the clicks that you're receiving. I'm just going to move myself out of the way again. And these can be clearly seen in the paid visit section. So this paid visit section is going to show you which IP addresses are clicking on your ad. It's going to tell you the exact date and the exact time that they made the initial click. And it also shows you things like device fingerprinting. Obviously it's paid visit section, so it's going to be a paid click anyway. But it tells you whether or not they're on a desktop or a mobile, and if they're using Windows or iOS. And if you also click this little plus here, it will also give you a bit more of an idea of the location that the click originated from. So just to give you an idea, this client here has settings set up that will block any IP address that clicks on their ads twice in one day. So as you can see here, this IP address here, in the space of just under a minute, they clicked on the ad twice. And this little red icon here shows that that IP address was excluded. So now this IP address has been excluded. The IP address is going to be pushed through to your Google Ads campaigns into the exclusion list, and that IP address is no longer going to be shown this client's ads. As you can see, they've also not made any further clicks since their IP address was blocked. So I've obviously just discussed the settings that this particular client has enabled, but let's actually just take a little look at the settings section itself. So as I've just mentioned, this client here has 2 clicks in 1 day and then block, and 3 clicks in 7 days and block. We always recommend that you are doing blocks based in a 1 day and either a 5 or a 7 day time frame. Just because you're getting click forward, it doesn't mean that people are doing it over the course of 1 day. Some people might be a little bit more clever about it and decide that they want to click on your ads once a day for the duration of a week. And by setting an excessive clicking rule that captures people who are clicking over longer time frames, will make sure that their IP address is blocked and that they can't continue that going forward. So ClickGuardian does actually have a more premium package as well, which opens the account up to these premium features. We don't tend to use this on all of our clients, but you do have the option to enable anonymizer detection, which will identify people who are using a VPN or are a part of a Tor. And you've also got access to user type blocking. With user type blocking, you get a long list of different networks, such as schools, libraries, cafes. And what you can essentially do is block people who are using them networks. The way that I like to describe this is if, for example, you do something like photography and you've got someone who's in a school or a college clicking on your ad, they might actually be clicking on your ad using your website for research purposes, not actually as a genuine inquiry. So by enabling user type blocking, you would block that IP address and it will overwrite the excessive clicking rules that you've already set up. The 2 premium features are an additional cost. It's £45 a month as opposed to the £35 a month. But ClickGuardian do actually offer an agency package if you are looking to roll this out across multiple clients. Some of the other settings are you've got block visitors who have JavaScript disabled and the global threat network. As the name suggests, block visitors with JavaScript disabled is going to block users who have JavaScript disabled. The global threat network is essentially a bank of IP addresses that ClickGuardian have identified to be fraudulent across multiple accounts. If one of these IP addresses clicks on your ads, this will overwrite your excessive clicking rules and that IP address will be blocked straight away. If you have this setting enabled, you will also put into the global threat network as well, but you have the option to opt in and opt out of this as and when you wish. And another one that we always suggest enabling is device fingerprinting. With device fingerprinting, this will help with people who are trying to change their IP addresses. The way this works is it actually takes a fingerprint of the device that a person is using. So it will take into account their browser, their device, their screen size, and it will just create a profile based on that device. So then if they, for example, turn their phone off and turn it back on again, we'll know that they've done that, and any future IP addresses will get blocked as well. So any IP addresses that have been blocked based on the settings which you have enabled here are all going to be shown in the exclusion list. You can change the time frame for this, you can export it. If you know of a manual IP address, or maybe you want to add your own IP address to avoid clicking on your own ads, you can do this here. These IP addresses are then pushed through into your Google Ads campaign. And like I said, you can export these if you would like to. For example, say you've been running ClickGuardian for a month and you decide to cancel the subscription for whatever reason. Maybe you're temporarily not going to be running ads. You can export this list and save it for later, just in case you want to refer back to it. But this section here visually shows the timestamp which the IP address was blocked, the IP address itself, and the rule that was broken, just so you can visually see what's been going on and why these IP addresses have been blocked. ClickGuardian is straightforward, and once it is set up, it does require very little maintenance. The settings are something that you can come in and change at any time. If you think that, for example, 3 clicks in one day isn't working for you and you're getting a lot of people exceeding that number of clicks, you can come back in at any time and you can refine the number of clicks that you allow people to make. But essentially, once it is working, it will just work in the background. Another great thing about ClickGuardian is it works around some of the restrictions that Google puts in place. So for example, you can only have 500 IP exclusions per any exclusion list. What ClickGuardian does is once it identifies that you are close to reaching that 500 IP limit, it will start to filter out the oldest IP addresses to make way for the latest IP blocks. This is great because it ensures that only the latest IP addresses are being blocked, and it ensures that you are getting maximum protection from click fraud. And lastly, if you are looking to sign up for ClickGuardian, they do have support over both live chat and the phone. So if you do set this up and you are struggling with the setup process, they do have people on hand to help. However, we tend to find that it is quite simple, and once we've done it for one client, we kind of get how it works for the others. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below and we'll be more than happy to help. But that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out our other videos on all things digital marketing.